I had people in the Facebook groups and all over ask about how you can isolate out and stop ads from showing up in the middle of containers. I went and replicated this kind of to showcase it. Like this is the middle of an easy table of contents and the ad loads in the middle. In this case, I made the ad appear there. But how do you stop this from occurring? Well, let's take a look at the two different ways you can handle this. There is automatic insertion, so the enhanced and AI placeholders within the website. And then within the Ezoic plugin is the Ezoic plugin handling that you can manage so you can ensure you don't target them. Let's discuss both ways here now. All right, so when you're inside your WordPress, what you'll want to do is go take a look and you're going to go into settings and then you're going to go into Ezoic. And if you've built ads within this for placeholders, you can go into add settings and then you'll want to go to the gear. The gear will bring you to the settings for the insertion, so how it's inserting everything. And you'll notice that it's using for paragraphs, it's counting on every HTML element, so every paragraph, and every LI for line element. For most people, this should be fine for 99% of your content, but things like the easy table of contents actually use LI on their side to show you each line for those headings. If you were not to build this correctly, you would see ads in the middle of those lines on chance based off of your counting. So on here, if you look, your counting is on the third paragraph. So basically the third insertion point, the sixth, the ninth, and so on. So it's the third paragraph or LI that comes through your content. Then the sixth paragraph or LI that comes in the content. Then the ninth, and so on and so forth. So what you want to keep those. I mean, you don't want to not count them because you're trying to get the ad placeholders to be well put throughout your content, especially because a lot of people have a lot of lists inside their content and you don't want to skip them all, because if you skip them all, you may have tremendously less ads on your page when you could have a few more ads and make a few more dollars from every piece of content. So I would recommend not changing those. And then excerpt tag is what's used for an excerpt. And then your sidebar. So if you use a really custom theme that actually puts some weird ID on the sidebar, you can actually tell it what your sidebar uses to ensure that the sidebar ads show where you expect them and want them to. But the benefit is here, this insertion filters basically tells it where it shouldn't count these paragraph tags. So by default, the block quote and tables were in here. And then a few months ago, Ezoic added the table of contents container for one of the plugins. And then even more recently, they added the easy table of contents container. So if you have an easy table of contents, or if you use the plugin easy table of contents, you don't need to worry. They've already put in the ID for you to ensure they don't show up in the middle of it. But you can add other ones here. If you were to make something with generate blocks, for example, you can give it a class, and then you can use that class as a way to block anything from showing up within that block. So if you did like a pros and cons, right, you wouldn't want an ad to show up in the middle of that block because it would just break up everything. What you would do is you would target that class, say, within that class, anything inside that is off limits. If you use the same one across all your pros and cons blocks, then you would never have to worry about them on any page that you put them on. And then you also have this, which is interesting, which is only count paragraphs with a word count greater than a specific amount of words. If you have an affiliate disclaimer or you use a lot of short sentences for miscellaneous things, so like a call to go to another post, you could be like, well, I don't want to count anything with less than 75 words in it. You'll have to figure out what that word count is for you. I mean, I'm assuming for most people, this is more like 15 or something like this. So it's not going to count anything that's over or under 15 words as one of those paragraph or lines. But you got to play with it a little bit because every line in a list may be under that count or may not be under that count. Like you have to kind of weigh the benefits and drawbacks. That's how you can do it easily using the plugin. The one where 99.9% of people should be, because the plugin will carry through a theme change. So if you were to change from Carbonate to Generate Press, it would carry across those placeholders. You wouldn't lose the value. That's the problem with building everything with the Chrome plugin, is that you either have to go manually replace those with like an ad insertion plugin, or you're going to have to start from zero again, which can be a tremendous loss in value as to what those placeholders were providing you in income level. So next, we'll jump over into the Ezoic side. So what I was trying to discuss here is I don't think it's tied necessarily to manual placeholders you build yourself, but I think because the auto ad inserts are where people's problems come from, that's where you can do this part. So if you use, a lot of people have AI placeholders and enhanced placeholders on by default, but you can actually do the same filters here for anything to do with this auto insertion. You could do the same thing by creating and basically cloning what you have here and just say, I don't want any of the AI placeholders or enhanced placeholders being placed inside the EZ table of contents container. So this way you could actually filter off those ones from appearing in places where you don't want them to appear either. But it just takes some planning and understanding on your website, how and where you need to place those and where you need to apply those CSS filters. In one benefit with WordPress for ease is if you are inside a post, if you're inside a post, you can go click on anything that's inside here. And if you go over to advanced, you can actually go down and apply classes. You can build yourself sections even here. So I mean, in this case, if I was to select all of these and decide that I want to group them. So now the group exists, the group has an advanced, and inside here, you can go down into class and just say, my group. If I don't want things to apply within this group of text, now all I would have to do is go back into the plugin and add a filter, and it's a class. So you say my group. Boom. Now it's going to not look inside that section. Same thing on the Ezoic ad side itself inside here for the placeholders. I haven't tested this, but it's one of the things that it's hard to test without a site set up specifically to run these kind of things. But you could go in here and just say, I created my group. I don't want the AI placeholders or enhanced placeholders to fall inside that group. And inside here, I'm assuming since I have to put the pound sign for an ID, you'll have to put the dot before the CSS. So now AI placeholders and enhanced placeholders wouldn't fall within this group of text. Hopefully that helps some people out, and it helps explain how you can kind of utilize the tools to get better results and to really tweak how your pages and posts align and show data. Like if you had a call to your own information product, you want that, maybe you want to group that specifically and then give that a group called, my course, and then go specifically exclude that group from having an ad show up in between it. Like to make that block always be a firm text block without anything interrupting it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I love to play around with this stuff, and I love to tweak and adjust and make things work.